Hey guys, welcome back to the sideline. I am hanging out here with Woody. How are you, Woody?
I am fantastic tonight, Jackie. I'm loving life right now.
I am so excited that you assembled this beautiful panel of clinicians tonight because, like, okay, you know me, I'm all about the women's history, and we are talking to some incredible female percussionists.
8 off the mat and go.
Welcome to On a Water Bridge, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in.
It's time for a water break.
I'm not going to claim to know anything about percussion as a guard girl, but yeah, I want to go ahead and introduce them. This is Gisele Cadieux. Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing good. Dawn Lewis.
Hello.
And Georgia Siriani. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
It's like on a game show.
So, yeah, I mean, some of the sound effects make it pretty exciting. Woody, can I ask you first, how do you know these lovely women here before us?
Well, I tell you, it's kind of funny how this all got going. And in one of our episodes, we were talking about someone mentioned Georgia Beth. And I said, hey, I know Georgia Beth. Now, as far as I was concerned, I thought she was the very first woman snare drummer in the Crossmen. And I said, I'll call Georgia. We'll talk to just her. I called Georgia and she's like, oh, no, time out. I am not number one. As a matter of fact, there are two more of us. I'm like, the hell you say? And so she put me in touch with these ladies. As a matter of fact, when I kind of talked to a couple other people out on the street that this was coming, they were like, did you get Dawn? I was like, Dawn who? And then Georgia Beth tells me about her. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies. I mean, I should have known, but you know.
No. Why? No.
This is why we're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It is why we're doing it. You know, during my era, Georgia Beth was a big thing. It was like they have a girl in the Crossmen snare line.
Yes, huge.
It was huge. And then she tells me before her there was Gisele. I'm like, what? I have to meet her. And then I guess when they mentioned you, Dawn, it then came to me. Are you one of Terrell's students?
Yes,
Terrell
I am.
Smith?
I still am.
See, I knew the name sound familiar.
Yes.
And I remember people mentioning your name and him together, and then it just all clicked. So this is very exciting for me tonight, Jackie.
I'm excited too. I absolutely love that you were able to pull this all together, Woody, and I appreciate you guys for making time in your schedule to do this. We have to start with our traditional way of starting all of our interviews, and that is with the 32 count life story. Gisele, would you be okay with going first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so for our listeners who don't know how this works, we're basically just going to give you 8 off the bat, and then you have 32 counts, which comes out to about 30 seconds, to tell us anything pertinent to your life story, what we might like to discuss in the marching arts, or if you just want to tell us, like, you know, when you were born, that's cool too. However far you want to go back.
Okay. All right. As ready as ever, I guess. All right, go. Okay. So born French Canadian to parent, raised in Montreal. I started following drum corps. I was 6 years old when my sister was marching in an all-girl corps. And then I joined the same all-girl corps at 15. We're probably going to talk about that later. I met my husband through drum corps when teaching. I married, moved to South Africa, lived there for 7 years, played percussion there and subbed at orchestras there. Then when I came back, I found a new calling, and then I got involved again when my kids started marching. Yeah, that's about it. I think I'm done, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. You are a world traveler. That's amazing.
Love it.
Okay, I have so many questions now, but let's go ahead and do Dawn. Would you like to do the next one?
Yeah, I'll do the next one. Now that I know about how
And
long
Georgia,
it
I
is,
can see
I know where to
Georgia
start.
like getting
Like,
excited.
Oh
no, why
gosh,
can't I
oh
go?
sure.
Are you ready?
I'm going.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start off when I started playing snare drum at all. I was in middle school, and my brother was my first teacher, and I went and saw him at the high school, and Sue DeLuca was in the snare line, and she marched in the Crossmen, and she was a female snare drummer, and her hands looked so cool, and she did all these cool visuals, and I was like, I want to do that. And then their teacher, George Sullivan, who marched in the New York Skyliners and took me to my first practice, he took me to see the Skyliners, and I was like, I want to do that. And 2 years later, I was the first female snare drummer in the New York Skyliners. In 1991, I was 16.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. What a trailblazer.
And the world comes together for me again. Okay.
You know me, Woody,
All
and
these
I know you.
connections, right?
Right,
You've
right.
seen me
It's,
before.
it's,
I was a little
yes,
girl, so
the pieces are coming together. All right. Forgive
Mhm.
me. I'm elderly.
it's okay, Woody.
Okay, we got one more. Georgia,
Oh boy.
are you ready?
I guess so.
All right, let's make this happen.
All right. Jersey girl, born and bred. Started out my musical career actually on flute. Played flute until high school. I changed to the drums on a whim. I actually wanted to play saxophone, but I couldn't find a used saxophone, so I ended up buying a drum pad and sticks and started my journey. I played snare for 3 years in high school. Found drum corps on PBS and really wanted to do it, but didn't know how to get to it. And when I went to college at Westchester University, of course, I was surrounded by a bunch of drum corps people. And by my junior year, I was ready, and I went and tried out for Crossmen, and second girl in the snare line there. And then when I finished that up, I ended up a couple years out, and then heard about the Bushwhackers, got dragged to the open house, and 6 years at the Bushwhackers in the snare line. So
Wow. 6 years of drum corps and one corps. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
You young people.
talk about it. My daughter's a color guard. She did 10.
See, that's the way
That's
you're supposed to roll, right? Right? You
right.
know,
Yeah.
No, she's done.
you don't leave.
So so all three of you marched Crossmen at
yes,
some
Think so?
point?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what was it about the Crossmen that sort of made the environment more accepting, I guess, of female drummers?
Well, okay. So for me, I wanted to audition for Vanguard, but they were not allowing female drummers to audition at Vanguard at that time.
Oh.
So we could not even audition. So then, being in the East Coast, I looked through East Coast chorus and wrote a few, but then Crossman seemed to me to be the better choice in terms of the style of playing back then. And I just I just wrote. I mean, I came from an all girl corps. To me, a girl snare drummer was a normal thing. I
Yeah.
didn't even think of I'm going to be the first one. I didn't think of any of that. So, but Crossman, the staff, like the people, I don't know. I just like their style of playing, and I wanted to stay on the East Coast. When if I'm going to go all the way to California, it has to be for the core I want to be in.
Right.
Yeah. So, but they were welcoming. They were fine. They were good in the end. Poor guys.
yeah, I had a similar. I actually wanted to try out for the cadets because I was Jersey girl. So, but I heard that they did not take girls in the snare line. And so I was at Westchester at the time, and Crossmen were out of Westchester. So I went to rehearsals at Westchester to the Crossmen. And I actually did have some pushback from some of the guys in the line. They were not happy, but
Yep.
Thurston gave me the chance, and I did it, and I'm glad I did.
Who gave you the chance? Thurston?
Yep.
That what you said? Oh, so he was my snare leader. He was my line leader.
No, he was in he was in charge of the line when I marched.
So that's probably why you got the chance, Georgia.
Yep.
No, but Mark was even at my audition for Crossmen. Yeah, you can tell the ones who wanted you there and the ones who didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty intimidating when you see a woman who can play as well as you, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's
Well, if you
weird because,
told
like you
your whole
said,
life.
like Gisele said, for me, it didn't seem like it was a weird thing for a girl to be going out for the snare line. When I was in high school, there was another girl in the snare line. I never had anybody like look at me weird, like, oh, why is there a girl in the drum line? It didn't seem weird. And even when I went to college and I was with a lot of drum corps guys, Tom Ungst was there teaching the line when I started in freshman year. And, it wasn't a problem. It didn't seem weird until I went to the Crossmen and I got that pushback and heard, cadets don't take girls in the snare line. It was just weird.
Yeah, yep.
And
Hey,
here
well,
you've heard all your life, girls being drummers is no big deal. Girls being snares is no big deal. And if you're a guy who's heard all his life, no, girls can't drum, then, I'm sure their world got shook up by having you ladies on the line with them.
oh
That's how
yeah.
that T-shirt was born. Like girls play drums. Get over it.
Right?
Dawn, what was the draw for you?
Well, I actually did try out for cadets, and I was with the cadets all winter long. And this was 1995, the year I ended up marching with the Bushwhackers with Georgia. We have marched together.
Yes, we have.
Yes, they kept me all winter. They kept me all winter long at cadets, and I was pulled out of a room many times, isolated, and I heard many things were said, and one of them was I was too small, probably can't do it. I'm a distraction. That was one, and so they cut me right before it was time to like get warm outside. And I remembered Mark coming on the bus when I marched in the Skyliners when I was just a kid and saying, "Hey, you could play. You should come try out for the Crossmen." And so I said, "Well, am I allowed to curse? I'm not going to do it. Never mind. F it. let me go take Mark up on that offer." And so I did. I went to the Crossmen, and I can tell you honestly, as a female who I did put my neck out there, knowing full well I wasn't welcome at the cadets. That was one of the reasons I went there.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I was like, I'm gonna go, and I did.
Let's
I learned
some feathers. Yes.
Yeah, I went. That's kind of my thing. I like to stir pots and ruffle feathers, and so I went, and they did cut me, and they did tell me to come back. Willie Higgins did tell me to return the following year, but I was like, I think I'll pass. And I'm glad that I did. In hindsight, I did exactly what I should do. I did exactly the right thing. And, Mark has a way of, and all the staff, they just have a way of making you release fear and play to your full potential. And that's why I love the Crossmen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. That's
I
really
love that description.
He was like that as a leader as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if about you, Georgia and Dawn, but like when I auditioned. So first of all, I auditioned at a time when the Crossmen drum line was really strong.
Mm-hmm.
That line, the percussion line that I played in, the Crossmen, was basically the same as 1980, and that was like 2 years later. That was in '82. And so there were only 2 spots open on the snare line. The bass line was already full. They've been playing for 2 seasons already. And there was like 2 spots open on the tenor. It was very few. So that was very, very strong. But you're right, Dawn. Like we had to audition in front of everybody. And that was very intimidating, but they had a way and they counted a lot on Mark and Rob Robinson at the time, because Rob had come back from Blue Devils. From his 1 year at Blue Devils, and like Tom Annam and Chris Thompson, they were very good at making you feel at ease. Like, just show us what you can do, be sound. I didn't have any piece prepared. I mean, I'm telling you, I had nothing prepared. I went in and and I didn't speak English, and so I went in front and I just said, just ask me things. Yeah, I don't know. But they were very, that's I think that's what gave me confidence into just going forward and just pushing through it. Definitely. So the guys who were not quite agreeing with me being there, eventually they, like Mark and these people made it so that, oh, okay, that they would shine, they would make me shine some of the things that I was strong with. So the guys who did not accept it could see and hear, oh, okay,
She's
they
got chops.
Yeah.
he's got chops, and I could march very well. And back then, chops meant more like in terms of endurance of playing. Like we would walk around the field and roll, walk around the field and do singles, walk around the field and do things like that. And so I could march very well, and we were on the field that was very bad, so I could absorb a lot of the things. So my rolls were always so nice and consistent. And so that's what made me be accepted by everybody, like, oh, okay, respect. So that's good, fine. Now we can move on with the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that was my experience with it. But yeah, Don, you're right about that. So goody.
Gisele, what year did you march Crossmen?
82. And I marched Chatelaines for 7 years before that.
You are a Shoshana girl.
I sure am.
Oh man, that was the jam.
Yeah. That drum line was,
Yes.
oh man,
I
crazy. Yeah.
I marched Black Watch, so obviously I've seen you a lot. I've seen you a lot, and that was a good year for the East Coast.
Yes.
Everybody was good in drums.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Very true.
How about you, Dawn? When did you march Crossmen?
1996. 96. It was Mark Thurston's last year with the Crossmen. Well, on the East Coast anyway. So the Birdland.
It sounds so sad.
The Birdland. The big drum opener that everybody loves.
Yes.
I love. To this day, I still play it all the time. I like to make sure I can still play it.
I am a true drum corps person. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I might end up being the next historian or something. I don't know.
Cool.
I wouldn't put it past you, Woody.
And Georgia Beth, what year did you march?
87.
87. Okay. Oh, your host is Twinkie.
What? What's?
Was that the Spanish year? 87?
No.
No, that's 85. 85. 85.
Summertime Rumble.
Oh, you play Rumble?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know, Gisele. Oh, Rumble versus Shoshana. Oh, I don't know. What did you play for drum solo there, Dawn? Oh, we had an opening.
What are you talking about? It's the first thing that happened.
Yeah.
The opener. I played the opener as a drum solo, Woody.
It was a drum solo, yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
I always felt like the drum line opened up the show with so much energy, the corps could never get that back again.
Yeah, the show was heavy. Mark Thurston's last year. It was definitely a statement piece, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he does write crazy beats anyways, right?
Yeah. It was a super percussive book, I would say. It was definitely a signature Thurston goodbye. It was awesome.
Yes, it was an awesome drum solo. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Very cool.
So, first off, before I go into my list of questions here for these ladies, you have anything else, Jackie?
Well, I was just going to start asking some of the stuff about what it's like to be on tour with these groups, Crossmen in particular, but what's it like being the only girl? For myself, I was only ever on co-ed color guards, and I couldn't imagine, basically.
Yeah, it was different. It was definitely different for us. I mean, obviously we did everything that guys did as far as we drummed on our pads for most of the trip until you passed out. We all changed.
What bus did you ride?
We all changed. I drummed all the time. I mean, I still drum all the time. I have an obsessive personality, and I drum every day to this day.
Oh, God,
Preparing
bless
for.
your heart.
Yeah, I'm preparing for our 50th anniversary. You might have heard about, but I can't tell you much about it. But I'm preparing for that.
I was going to ask you about
Yeah,
that.
Woody's got it on his list.
I got the shirt on. I figured you guys might figure something out. But yeah, I can't tell you any details about it. But I've been practicing for over a year because I have personal goals, honestly. So
we're both doing it. So I
yeah,
had the
Gisele
occasion of
too.
meeting.
Oh, you doing it too?
Yes, Gisele as well.
Bravo.
I wish Georgia was doing it. Ah,
Yes,
I am
Don't have the
amazing.
time or the money,
I know.
That'd be
I get
crazy.
it. I get it. Life
Yeah.
is life.
or I would be there.
Life can be cruel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Definitely.
yeah, we're doing it.
Well,
We're
warning.
both of us are doing it, which is cool. First and third, baby.
So you
Warning.
guys like rode the bus with the guys. You like had to
Oh,
sleep
yeah.
in the same gyms with the guys.
My seat
No?
partner was a guy. I did. I slept in the same seat. My seat partner was in the snare line. You didn't have that. Yeah, but I went.
Lucky.
I did 2 tours. My seat partner was always another snare drummer because I'm
No,
a
I
I'm
rode
a
the
snare
colorguard.
drummer. I did what snare drummers did. I was always with the snare line. I never was not with the snare line.
I was always with the snare line doing everything the snare line does, except when we traveled. I was in the color guard bus.
Oh no, I was
And
in the
I
drum.
had to
Really?
Yeah, I had to yes. I was in the color guard bus for tour, and I had to beg to be in the drumline bus going to shows so that we could, like you drum and you prep and you whatever. So I had to beg for at least that part to be in the drum bus. But no, at color guard bus, it was crazy. It was like, yeah, great.
Yeah,
So-
how do you get that?
Tell me a
That
little
provide
more.
some like limitations for you as far as like disseminating information that you needed for your section and stuff like that? Did you ever feel like you were behind the guys in that regard?
Well, Jackie, I'll tell you, I felt like I was behind all the time because I did not speak English.
Well, yeah, okay.
One thing,
That's crazy.
but
That's amazing.
it was just to me, it's just like it was just writing to the shows. I needed to be able to feel
Get that energy.
the togetherness of the line, and we were very close. So at least they allowed that, and from the moment they allowed that, it was better. But I mean, yeah. Otherwise, it's just color guard bus, and then some. I mean, and again, you have also this confrontation with the girlfriends and so some of the girls were really nice and happy to see me there. Some of the girls were like, hey, like don't. I mean, one girl even said, don't talk to my boyfriend during rehearsal. And I'm like, seriously?
Gisele, were a lot of your
You know?
friends color guard girl? Like a lot of your friends were in the color guard, or would you consider that you were?
Well,
were-
I had friends in the color guard. I may not. Some of my roommates when we went, because I moved in February, so some of my roommates were color guard girls in the winter. But I mean, in the summer, I was friends with like guys and girls in guys and girls in the horn line, color guard. But the drum line, the snare line was very very close. We hung out a lot.
Very cool.
How about
Georgia,
you,
what was it
What?
like for you?
Yeah, I did not ride the drum bus either. I was on the mixed bus, horns, guard, you name it, and I did have a guy's seat partner, but I never really missed being on the drum bus. I really didn't, because again, there were some of the guys that I did not like the fact that I was in the line. So I kind of, stayed away from them. But, they would do stuff like rehearse in the men's room at facilities just to, bug me, but it really didn't do shit. It did not bother me. I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care. But no.
So
your experiences were very different than mine.
Yeah,
in those aspects.
And also, it's kind of funny because it kind of gives the essence of the core that season. Like if the guys are trying to isolate you, as opposed to when I was there, I mean, we were focused. We were a good drumline. We had goals. And so being together was important, and we worked hard together, and we helped each other. It's kind of, it's funny. It talks to the
You march
Let
with
my puppy out.
some of the leading arrangers in the activity for a lot of years. I mean, you
yeah,
march with a lot of guys who shaped the activity for what it is now. So, I mean, you know,
yeah.
I know the people that Georgia marched with, and that's a whole different group of people. Like they were just regular drum corps people. You march with like
Oh
some,
yeah. I mean, most of. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and some of these people were staff. They were young. They were coming out, but
you're
they're
young, like
yeah.
the Tom
It's
Haddams of
crazy.
the world. Like he's one of the most incredible writers in the activity. You
Yeah,
know,
I
you're
know.
very lucky, very fortunate.
Oh, I know. I know. Believe me.
No, say
So,
some of these names because seriously, like every time you say a name, I feel like I'm even recognizing them, and I'm not a percussionist at all.
so my staff was Tom Annam and Chris Thompson. So Tom Annam was headed at Boston University. You have to correct me because I don't know all the names still. I don't follow all the American stuff, but so these are two big names. And Mark Thurston was in mine. Rob Robinson, who won the individual championship for years, was in my line. Ken Sherry became a judge at one point. Jim Dwyer is still involved in the activity and is still judging today. He was on the line with me. Who else can I think of? I don't know if the other guys were really involved, but I know that some of them are still band directors that are pretty influent and stuff. So yeah, a lot of these people, and some of these people, went to cadets and when that line
What it
good.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of those guys left Crossman and went to the cadet thing, and then that's when the cadets blew up. No,
yes,
well,
yeah.
sorry,
Steve
that's
Kiefer
when
was on my
Garfield.
line.
That's when
Mhm.
Garfield blew
Garfield.
up.
Steve Kiefer, Bob Morrison, all these people.
Yeah,
It's
Bob
crazy.
Morrison. Look,
Yeah,
see you.
yeah,
You march with some
yeah,
kings of
yeah,
DCI percussion.
yeah. I know. It's crazy. When I see this now, I'm like, oh my goodness, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my goodness, he was a bum. I was better than him.
yeah, yeah. But it speaks to the seriousness of the line. The focus of the drum line that year. It really does represent how we worked.
So we only have a few minutes left, and one of the things I'm really interested to get your guys' input on is how you kind of look at the activity now, and like, do you feel like trailblazer for this, or do you feel like this was just inevitable, or like what are some of your feelings as you kind of see the women in the activity now and how they can integrate and be, we've even had like all male drum corps that have become co-ed now. So what are kind of your thoughts on that as we're moving forward in what drum corps has become?
Well, I'll just say honestly, I never thought of what I was doing when I was doing it. Not one time. I really was just focusing on becoming the best drummer I could possibly be, and overcoming challenges that I had. I'm 5'1". I'm 100 pounds soaking wet. A drum is like 40 pounds. So to look at me when anyone would say, "Oh, you march drum corps? Yeah. Oh, you're in the color guard?" I'm like, "No, I'm in the snare line." Everybody always thought I was, that's what I was doing. So no, to look at me, yeah, you think I spin a flag, but no, I'm a snare drummer. That's my alter ego. That's what I do. So when I see women today, I honestly just, if I had to be honest, what I do is I just stare at them. I don't even watch anybody else playing because I'm just so enamored by any woman who can overcome all of the ego that could come with being around a bunch of guys who are trying to, beat you out of a spot. And for them, it's like, God, I can't have a girl beat me. you know. But for me, it's like I'm just earning my spot, just like everybody else. So in the moment, I never thought about what I was actually doing. But now when I watch and I see all these women doing it, I'm like, wow, that's so cool, because I there was a time I was the only one and nobody else was around. And I just love seeing it. And again, I stare at their pretty hands.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I would say,
pretty drumming hands are pretty drumming hands,
Yeah,
right?
like women
So
have the
good player
sweetest
is a good
hands.
player.
I'm just saying that women's hands always look good.
in, in,
It's
in
natural.
all my years of playing and watching the activity grow, I'm always amazed. First off, I have my name for it. I call it Chicks with Chops. I have promoted it forever, forever, forever. But when I taught the Jersey Surf, the thing that made me fall in love with having girls in the line is that they had more stones than the men, especially my female tenor players. God, my back hurts. The lady, she would not even take the drum off her back.
Don't forget, she got her period too. Shit.
Yeah, yes,
Talk about
yes,
it. Oh
yes.
my
Come
God.
on. Come on now. Come on now. Come on.
Yes, it's true though.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I could play those while I'm bleeding, sir. All right? What are you crying about?
Right.
And I
Exactly.
want to tell you, it was one of the best things ever. And I'll tell you, Jackie, I know you're a color guard person, but snare drummers are very egotistical. They're probably a lot like rifles.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably the equivalent.
It's so
Probably.
true.
Yeah, that would be the color guard equivalent.
They
Yes.
they are deep. Snare drummers are divas, and they
Some
don't
glory
like
boys.
anybody stepping in their
Yep.
spot. They don't like it. Don't like it.
You know,
So
that's
that's
the
why
only type of
I love
drummer
these
I
ladies.
never dated was a snare drummer.
Oh,
You're lucky.
that's the only
You're
type of
lucky.
drummer. Oh, oops, sorry. I didn't say that. Sorry.
So,
My bad. Oh,
okay, so last question before we go. What are you guys up to now? And we'll just kind of go from each person. What are you up to now? And if our followers, if our listeners want to follow you on social media, do you have a social media that you could share with them that they could kind of keep up with what you're doing? Gisele, you want to
yeah.
start us?
All right. Okay. So, well, I'm still very involved in the activity. Founded the drumline circuit here in Quebec. And I'm doing the 50th anniversary for Crossmen. So that's good. Also, speaking of Women's History Month, I'm part of a group of four lady snare drummers. We are the only four that marched finals in 82. And we got together as friends. We met and we played a solo back then. And there's videos on YouTube. It's called Chicks with Sticks. And it's a girl from Blue Devils, a girl from Phantom, a girl from Freelancers, and me. And we're just friends, and we get together and we drum. And from time to time, there's a little video coming out. So if people want to check that, I'm sure they can. I mean, you have to be careful with the name, but there's a page on. We're not extremely active. We're really just friends, but we have a beautiful story. And I think on YouTube, you can find that story. We played at some drum festival at one point, and with the Strikers in Chicago, and they pulled out the story. It came from one picture that Kelly took at finals. And years later, we just found each other, all the people from this picture, and we were the fourth snare. Actually, we're five of us, but one of us we couldn't find for the picture. But we got together, all these four ladies. It's amazing. Friends to this day. So,
Well,
yeah.
if you send me the link to that, I will make sure we get that linked up on our
We
episode.
have to get that
I will.
going, Jackie. That's
For
a
sure.
must.
Yeah.
And Georgia, what are you up to?
Actually, I am not around the activity much at all anymore. After I left Bushwhackers in '95, I actually started riding a motorcycle, and I was putting all my time into that. So, and again, I was the only girl in a sport bike world, which guys didn't like that either. So
you were just living the dream.
One thing to another. But yeah, so I was doing that for a while, and now just kind of just hanging out. But now that I've done this thing, I've started listening to some drum corps again, and I'm definitely going to go check out the alumni corps at Allentown. So
Do it,
we'll see.
do it. And I'm just saying, I missed the Blue Stars 50th anniversary corps also, but I'm doing the 60th anniversary corps. So it could still happen in the future. You never know.
Never know. But yeah, this year is out for me, but I will go support them and go check out their rehearsal during Allentown. So
You just want to go drink in the park. Stop with that.
no, I want to hang out with you in the park.
Well, then you want to go drink in the park. Now, Jackie, have you ever been to the park in Allentown?
Nope.
Oh, sister, you are missing an East Coast gem.
That's for On a Water Break After Dark. That's a different episode. Don, what are you up to?
No, and it's a really big gathering of drum corps. It's a big social thing. Like, you never even make it in. You pay $100 for your ticket.
Oh my God.
I didn't even buy a ticket.
It's that much fun.
Okay, Don, what are you up to these days?
So I am doing the alumni corps. I did mention that, but currently I own my own business. Maybe you can see my sign, but it says dawnlewisdesigns.com, and my Instagram is at DLD Makeup. I am a makeup artist, and I'm an esthetician. So I do facials, I do makeup, I do special effects makeup. So you could check my Instagram out. If you scroll down, I haven't had a lot of time, but I do eyelash extensions. I do detailed stuff, but I do that for a living. So I'm an artiste and I love it. I take care of people and I bang on drums. It's awesome.
And so for anybody who's just listening and can't see you, I want to say I've been admiring your makeup for the entire interview. I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And you said that's at DLD Makeup Design?
It's just Instagram is at DLD Makeup. That's it. And the website is dawnlewisdesigns.com.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to come follow you right after this too.
Please.
And she plays snare drum.
I will follow you right back.
Well, that is all the time we have for today for our amazing panel. Oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. Thank you guys again so much for coming and lending us part of your time. I'm just in awe of you so much more even now than I was when we started. It's great. Make sure you guys go follow them. And yeah, we need to get back out on the field because I think we have some laps to do for being late here.
Oh, there we go. Push-ups and stuff. That's okay.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Reams. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.